All right, today we're going to settle a delicious debate that's got a really fascinating scientific twist. We're putting two absolute summer heavyweights head to head, pineapple and mango.
So, I've got a question for you right off the bat. Which one do you think sends your blood sugar soaring higher? Go on, lock in your guess. Pineapple or mango? You got it? Okay, let's dive in and see if you're right.
The logical place to start is just looking at the total sugar, right? And on paper, this looks like a total slam dunk. Pineapple actually has less sugar than mango. So you'd think, okay, less sugar, smaller spike. Case closed. It seems so obvious, doesn't it? Well, as you're about to find out, when it comes to how our bodies work, it's rarely that simple. And this is where things get really interesting, because someone actually put this to the test. The setup for this little experiment was super straightforward. Step 1, eat a normal amount of the fruit. Step 2, let a continuous glucose monitor do its thing and track what happens. That's it. Nothing fancy, just fruit and the data. And for the pineapple test, we're talking about 250 grams, so, a pretty standard bowl of fruit. Now, the person who did this test, they were thinking the exact same thing as probably all of us. They were sure the pineapple would cause a smaller spike because, hey, it has less sugar than mango. It's the only thing that makes sense. But was it right?
Okay, this is the part I love. This is where it gets really, really interesting because the results were, well, they were not what anyone saw coming. Let's get right to the numbers.
First things first, before we reveal the pineapple number, we need something to compare it to, right? We need a baseline. And luckily, we have the data from a mango test to set the stage. So that test with the mango, it caused a blood sugar spike of 40 milligrams per deciliter. All right, so that's our number. That's the score to beat. For pineapple to win this thing and be the gentler fruit, its number has to come in under 40. All right, here we go, the moment of truth. Remember, pineapple has less sugar. So did it cause a smaller spike? Get this, 44 milligrams per deciliter. 44! That's actually a little bit higher than the mango. Wow. So everything we thought we knew just based on that total sugar number was, well, it was wrong. And when you see them side by side like this, it's crystal clear. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but it's undeniable. The lower sugar fruit had a bigger impact. So the million-dollar question is, why on earth did that happen? Okay, let's play detective and unpack the why behind this. There's some really cool science going on here. So it turns out, and this is the key to the whole puzzle, not all sugar is created equal. Think of it like this. The main sugar in pineapple is glucose. That's like a race car. Your body can use it for fuel almost instantly. But mango is packed with fructose. Fructose is more like a delivery truck. It has to make a stop at the liver to get processed first. So its journey into your bloodstream is way, way slower. So that really points to two big things that explain pineapple's surprise victory here. First, you've got that fast-acting glucose, that race car sugar. And second, pineapple has a ton of water in it, and that water basically acts like a superhighway, helping that glucose hit your bloodstream even faster. And you know what? There's actually a scientific term for all of this. It's called the glycemic index, or GI for short. It's basically a scoreboard for food that doesn't care about how much sugar is in something, but how fast that sugar hits you. And wouldn't you know it, when you check the official GI scores, the science backs up what we saw in the experiment. Because of that fast sugar and all that water, pineapple officially has a slightly higher glycemic index than mango. It feels backwards, but the science says it's true. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Let's boil it all down to the final verdict. And here it is, the most important thing to remember. The sugar number on a nutrition label, it only tells you part of the story. If you're really trying to understand how a food affects you, you've got to think about the type of sugar and everything else that's in that fruit, like its fiber and water. That stuff matters just as much. For the person who ran this experiment, this was actually awesome news. It meant they could feel a whole lot better about eating mangoes. It just goes to show you how getting the real data can totally flip your old beliefs about food on their head. And that really leaves us with one final big question, doesn't it? If we were this wrong about pineapple, what other healthy foods out there might be fooling us too? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this one.